We got another room almost done. This is the second bedroom upstairs of the house that we are remodeling. This house is a 1910 house that my husband and I purchased a few years ago. And actually, I am quite behind on sharing videos about this house because this is the third room that we have done, and I don't think I showed you the two other rooms yet. I'm going to insert here what this room looked like before we got started. This room is a plaster and lath room. We wanted to preserve it. We did not want to have to gut it out. And as you can see, there are some cracks that we had to fill. But the reason why I wanted to keep this room as original as possible is because of the ceiling, how it curves like that. Now, we could have duplicated that with sheetrock, but I wanted to save one of the rooms in the house as original as possible. As you can see, we did not do much with the floor. Now, there's something about this room. Whoever had this house before us, a previous owner, put carpet on the baseboards. Why would you do that? I have no idea. That was such a job. This is a pretty small room. It is about 10 feet by 8 feet, or 9 feet by 8 feet, something like that. But this is my Etsy/eBay room. I had just recently, about 8 months ago or so, injured my back to the point where I could no longer do physical labor. I was a machine operator. And because of the lifting and the bending and the stooping, I had to resign, and I need a way to make an income. So I decided to start selling on eBay and Etsy. One of my Etsy shops is selling vintage. The other is craft supplies. I realize at the moment that there isn't a whole lot to look at in here because tomorrow we're going to finish putting up shelves on this wall. And I will share a more updated video in about a week or so about how we finished off this room. I have not moved in all the way yet. I only have some of my stuff up here. I have some pictures yet to hang up. There will be another shelf over here and some more little odds and ends on the wall. And I need to move up the rest of my inventory. Maybe find a better spot for all my brass stuff. I usually package all of my stuff up that I have for sale because when it sells, it's just easier to grab it off the shelf, weigh it one more time, and put the label on it. I also need to get my computer up here. And I wanted to show you this really cool lamp. This was a thrift store find not too long ago. And this is something that I've always wanted. I wanted a globe light. Isn't that neat? I've always wanted one of those. My husband and I went out thrifting yesterday, and I found these beautiful brass quail. At least I believe they're quail. They're quite heavy, too. And they were $4.50 each. Now, I believe the set originally comes with 3, but I only have 2. And these will either go on my Etsy store or eBay store. I haven't decided yet. If you ever find these at a thrift store, especially if they're unopened, not opened and then taped up, like oftentimes I find that the bags were opened and then taped back up. So you really have to check to make sure that they have not been opened. Have you ever gone thrifting for resale and see things that you want to sell, and then you get them home and you think, oh, that would look so beautiful in my house somewhere? Well, that's the case with this little pretty dish here. This is solid brass. Picked it up at Family Pathways for $4.50, but I love the color and the enamelware, the design, the flowers, so beautiful. Here's another little ditty I picked up. It is a brass belt buckle that you can, use for crafts. Make your own belt. It is vintage. I thought someone might like that. It would also be good for macrame. Here's another item I picked up, the Dymo labeling kit for $6.50. This is actually a really nice one, and it comes with a few different fonts, and with the one that's on here, different sizes, I suppose. But this one is actually really nice, and it works really well. I also picked up this beautiful silver tray. I love the simplicity of it. One thing I did notice, though, that it is a bit scratched up, which I didn't notice in the store. But it is still a beautiful tray, and I think someone might like that. This isn't too exciting, but sometimes when you're at the thrift store, you can find packaging. And this is a perfect size for my jewelry pieces to line the boxes with. And then I also picked up some of these little bags to put my jewelry in as well. I also want you to know that I just don't resell vintage items. I get things like these vintage barrettes, and I am going to make barrettes out of them and sell them on my art store. I also make prints, art prints that I created with acrylic paints. And here's one that I made for Easter. And I also create black and white images for others to use in their art projects, mainly for image transfers and gel plate and things like that. I didn't want to just sell items. I wanted to create something. But unfortunately, you can't have a vintage store and an Etsy store in which you create things like art and put them together. It just screws up their algorithm, so I had to open up 2 separate stores. But I just wanted to share with you that I do love to create, do more than just sell vintage items. Well, it's by no means a huge haul, but this is what I got yesterday. And look for a video in the next week or two about a completed tour of this room, all totally completed, all decorated, everything moved in here and put away. I think you'll enjoy it. So I'm going to sign off for now, and until next time, bye for now.